let's do the Halsey story. Now that you're here, Colette.
I think it's Halsey.
Halsey.
Halsey's how you say it. Yeah.
Colette, you're gonna have to introduce me to who this person is.
Yeah, don't you remember the Eminem diss, Dad? MGK.
Yeah. Did he say something? But it's because of G. He said something about G-Eazy because she was dating G-Eazy.
He said, "Aren't you salty because Gerald's balls deep inside a Halsey?"
Oh, okay.
So there's your frame of reference for Halsey.
There you go.
Way to kick this one off.
Yeah,
You're
right.
welcome.
But yeah, so anyways, I wasn't super familiar with Halsey either, but I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. So I read that he was producing, in 2022 is when this came out. He was producing her album, and I was like, well, if Trent's involved, then I got to check this out. And the interesting thing about it, the album was called "If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power," and about 8 of the songs on there honestly sound like the best Nine Inch Nails record I've heard in years. Because what they release as Nine Inch Nails now, Trent, God love him, is weird beep boop bop stuff that is not Nine Inch Nails in my universe. I don't know where the hell they went, but
the beats sound more like almost like a Pretty Hate Machine era Trent.
Oh, like in hers or just in
her album?
Right. Yeah, it has more of that up to the Fragile is kind of my Nine Inch Nails. The first, 4 albums.
Should I play that clip of it?
Maybe now would be a good time. Yeah, to illustrate my point about.
Yeah, here. So just to show you what this sounds like, this is Halsey. I am not a woman. I'm a god, right?
Yeah, I have a funny. We can't play like a lot of it, but I mean, just that keyboard riff. Does that not sound? If you listen to Nine Inch Nails, you're like, oh, that's so Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, it sounds more electronic.
Yeah, and it's that arpeggio that just like every goth band loves to use. I remember my old drummer was all disappointed when he learned that was a button on the keyboard that did that, and it wasn't somebody going. I was like, no, it's one button. Sorry, but anyway, I was kind of surprised because I missed old Nine Inch Nails, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and I like some. I don't really like pop music, honestly. I like Lady Gaga. She's like my exception. And I do like goth, like dance music. Like when you go to goth clubs, it's kind of dancey. So I was like, okay, I could give this a shot, even though it's kind of pop-ish. And then I ended up making a playlist of the 8 songs that sound like Nine Inch Nails. But anyways. So, I mean, I don't know. She was, at the time, very like excited about it. And like, oh, I grew up listening to this. And like some of her earlier stuff, too, was more pop punky Avril Lavigne-ish when she was younger. So I was like, oh, okay, so she kind of comes from the same influences I do. That's pretty cool. Chick empowerment. Like I sing. Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw that. I have my band has an album coming out.
Yeah.
For the first time in ever.
I didn't know that.
It's kind of a side thing that we do, but
we can play that too.
Anyway, so yeah, I sing, so I can appreciate it. But I was going to say, funny side note about that song you just played, I'm Not a Woman, I'm a God. I've done that song karaoke a few times, and it really pisses people off. Because they're like, oh, she's, defying God or whatever. And I was like, oh, I just thought I had a cool beat. Like, I'm sorry. Anyways, but okay. So, yeah. And then recently she did this interview with, Rolling Stone UK. I don't know if you want to read all that or you want to just like summarize it.
Yes, in a cover story interview with Rolling. So we had the 4th. So she has a new album coming out. It says in a cover story interview with Rolling Stone UK Wednesday, October 16th, the pop star who uses she, they pronouns 30 opened up about not being credited for her work and ideas over the years. I really hate it when it happens. And if it's a person who refuses to admit that you're dope, but then they're stealing from you or they're referencing you or they're writing about you, Halsey said, that always lights a little juvenile fire in my belly. In particular, the New Jersey-born singer revealed that they'd like more credit for the concept and success of their 2021 album, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power, made in collaboration with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross of the legendary industrial rock outfit Nine Inch Nails. So is everyone okay, she said, of the people who credit the band for being the ones that made it good? You think that 2 rock dads wrote my Female Rage album about the horrors of being pregnant and accepting suburbia?
Okay, so that's where we're going to stop for a second.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, so if people are being misogynistic on the internet and giving Nine Inch Nails all the credit for her album, how the hell is that Trent Reznor's fault?
Yeah.
Like, why does she have to be ageist? So, because if you want to get like all woke here about it, that's
right.
ageism.
Yeah.
like a motherfucker. And I was like, oh, 2 rock dads? Excuse me. First of all, that's Trent Reznor, and he's won a Grammy. He won a Grammy for making beats for Old Town Road, that like rap song.
Oh yeah, the
I
Little
didn't
Nas
know
X
that.
one.
Yeah, because he is like a god of making beats. Okay, just don't argue with the man when it comes
He
to
does
beats.
soundtracks now too. He's done so many successful film soundtracks.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so he's a little more than a rock dad. Let me just say that also. So it's ageist. It's kind of like putting him in this side category when, he's kind of this major player in Hollywood now. And how is that his fault if other people are saying, there's no quote that I could find of Trent Reznor saying it.
Right. Well, also the ageist thing juxtaposed against the she uses she, they pronouns.
Right.
It's like, okay, dude, you're going to be that, but then you're going to like call the,
in the next sentence be completely ageist.
I feel like too the best way to combat anything like that is to just not give it attention, because now that she's kind of like bringing like this negative like aura to it, it's like, oh well, now you're kind of like being a douche. Like,
well,
right?
There's another side of this too, that like it's not that like I think people think Trent Reznor deserves credit for writing the whole album. I'm sure she contributed a lot, but also like he put his name on it, and that gives her a level of credibility she might not otherwise have.
Yeah, there's no way I would listen to it if his name wasn't on it.
Exactly.
So that it got her this whole new rock audience, which is another like beef I have with all the that I'll get to in a second. But specifically too, she says crediting the 9 Inch Nails for being the ones that made it good. And then she says, do you really think 2 rock dads wrote my album? So, okay, saying that he made it good is not saying that he wrote it. So there's like 4 things wrong with that statement.
Producer.
He didn't write the lyrics.
He didn't write. I've listened to her music, the vocal tunes. She can write. She can sit and play a guitar and everything. She's not like one of those people with 29 songwriters or whatever. She's legitimately talented, so I'm sure they work together. But I'm sorry, when I hear 9 Inch Nails, I know 9 Inch Nails. Like, there's definitely a large element, and the people who think that Trent Reznor made it good are people like me who don't listen to pop music.
I want to know what Joey thinks, because he's been sitting there quietly for a long time.
Way to alienate the rock people, and then she does this other thing that alienates us. But yes,
I'm probably gonna have the trolls say, "Why am I even on here?" I don't know enough. I don't know enough 9 Inch Nails, or I've just heard of Halsey tonight. So
then you have a good outsider opinion.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
You're not emotionally attached to any of these artists.
Yeah, I don't understand why people can't just be honest and be like, "Hey, I really appreciate this person's help or input or whatever." Like, just stop being so possessive about everything.
Yeah,
I
would agree with that. Yeah.
And to take it out on him, like to your point, Colette, for something like some people said online or whatever, like the older I get, maybe it is like the more I'm just like, the internet is not real. Just turn it off and go outside.
Yeah, certain things are worth fighting. It's like it's like, who cares? Also, also he, like you were saying, he definitely. I mean, he's a big portion of that album's success. Like, I mean,
I checked it out because it had Reznor's name on it. I'm not the guy who's going out to listen to Halsey.
And no hate to Halsey. I'm sure she has her own fan base, but it's like now you kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine who said it? There's some quote out there. It's like, I'm gonna butcher it, but it basically it's like. You don't put as long as you don't care who gets the credit, like, aren't you happy that your work is out there? Like, I should look that up, but it was a really good quote. But I just think, like, especially in the music industry in 2024, there's so much collaboration. And if people just didn't worry about getting full credit for something, imagine the amazing music we would have.
Yeah. Totally.
Exactly.
Look at Perry and Dave. Really, Perry. It wasn't Dave's problem.
But yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, I guess her goal is to alienate all her, fans that she may have gathered from the rock and roll kind of side of things. And then this next thing comes out where she's trying to do this homage to Evanescence, which is cool. I don't know if you have the.
Do you want to show that? Okay. Yeah, I got it. This is actually really cool.
This
Yeah, I
iconic
noticed it
Fallen
does
album
that,
cover
but-
has been recreated by Halsey while promoting her upcoming album, The Great Impersonator, which features songs inspired by Halsey's influences. She teased one of the songs from the record called Lonely is the Muse, which sees Halsey recreate the exact look that Evanescence vocalist Amy Lee had on the cover of the band's debut album Fallen, and my god does she nail it. For reference, here's Halsey's version, and now the original with Amy Lee. After Halsey shared a couple of teasers and referred to Lee as her OG dark rock queen, Amy Lee herself commented saying, "High compliment coming from you, my dear." Other artists that influenced songs on Halsey's upcoming album include Stevie Nicks, David Bowie, Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries, and more. Evanescence is set to begin a Canadian tour tomorrow, October 15th, alongside Hailstorm and The Warning, and according to a recent interview with Amy Lee, Evanescence will return to the studio in November.
So all of that is good for Evanescence, and it's good to see them getting some more national attention. I really like Evanescence, and Amy Lee's really talented. But here's the thing. I'm convinced her mission is to actually alienate rock fans, because I went to listen to her new music, and it sounds nothing like any of those things that he said. Not even just Evanescence, but like Bowie. What else did he say? The Cranberries? No, it was just like this really watered down pop bullshit.
Do you want me to play it? I have the clip.
That I was like, okay, I think you're just fucking with me on purpose now.
So here's the clip. That I got. I got a good one too. I was like, what the hell?
Right?
This is her new song. This is
Paris.
it's like a what's her name? Sabrina Carpenter or something like that.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know who most of those people are. But to be fair, the one that she said is inspired by Evanescence is a different song, and it is slightly more rockish. But I listened to all 5 songs that she's put out as singles, and I just wanted to illustrate the point that basically none of them are rock and roll in any way, shape, or form. And so she sort of sucked in this rock audience with this Trent Reznor produced album. Then she teases this Amy Lee thing. You think, okay, well, she got this like harder edge audience. Maybe she's going to roll with that and have a little more edge, like Lady Gaga's had before. And that's why she actually sucked me in, right? And no, it was all a lie. And Halsey sucks again. Sorry.
It was a coup. She cooed us.
Yeah. Is that what that's called?
She tricked us. Now she's gonna be like Pink too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, even Pink is heavier than that. I'm sorry. But
I like Pink.
I do too. I like some of her songs, especially the one she actually got to write herself.
Was that Joey's quote?
Yeah.
It's not mine, but I found it.
That's
That's
quote.
a good one. Yeah.
I don't think she expected the audience she got, because I don't know. It's a weird reaction.
Yeah, it's
like such a minor thing. It's like,
so my conspiracy theory brain, as someone who used to work in advertising and PR, is like, oh, maybe she's trying to gin up some controversy.
yeah,
Because sometimes that's how you get talked about, and like I've say that Oscar Wilde quote all the time. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
true.
Right. Yeah.
But I also don't know if I want to listen to her album now.
I won't be.
I'm just saying. Like, there's
She's losing fans she never had in Joey.
Yeah.
You lost a fan you just lost a fan you never had, Halsey.
I know, right? It's like, okay, I realize that metal is like 0.1% of the market probably, and we're in our own weird lonely corner, so she doesn't care what we think. But that's why I wanted to go on the internet and complain about it, because I was like, she obviously doesn't give a shit, and it's way too obvious.
Yeah.